Welcome back to How to Get to X Rank, the series. Now, this is the second episode on Area of Control, and this is basically a summary of the first episode. Was just what is it? What is Area of Control? Basically, the little circle or big circle around you, depending on the weapon you play, as that being your little bubble. That if anyone comes inside, you kill them. However, there are factors like walls and stuff that can get in your way and it can mess with your area of control. So I will show you an example of that in Splatoon. So going back to here, as you can see, I'm only using a splatter shot, which isn't very well. If I show you its range, it's got okay range, but it's not very big, right? There's weapons that have bigger range, like Splattershot Pros and Chargers and Tri-Stringers and all that. You know, Jet Squelchers as well. So it's alright, but going back to what I was saying about it being our circle, this is our circle, right? Well, this is our circle. Now, it doesn't look very big, but that is our circle. And this guy's in our circle, so we can kill him, right? And as we move, this circle follows us. But as we get closer, we can shoot this guy now, right? And this guy up here, he's also in our circle. But we can't quite reach him. That's because there's an obstacle in the way. So if we climb up here, we can still kill him, right? And the guy behind him. But we can't quite reach the guy over there. So one way we can increase our area of effect, or area of control, sorry, with most weapons, is they'll give you a sub-weapon. Like here, I have a splat bomb. I can throw that, and it explodes. And if I go back to our original circle, I can actually throw it outside my circle, and it makes a bigger explosion. So technically, our area of control slightly bigger if we have bombs. But depending on the bomb, depends on how you utilize it as well. Now, another factor is your special, which you probably just... I turned the audio down so you didn't hear the ding, but I heard a ding. And how our special can affect our area of control is either A, it keeps us in our area of control better, or it expands it again. So if I was to pop my special, this one is a bubble. And this bubble is basically bulletproof to a certain extent to anyone on the other team. Which I don't have friends who play Splatoon, so I don't have an example. This is just some future Fisher Boy here. I just want to say I went onto the internet and just googled a example of how this is bulletproof to an extent, and so yeah, I'm just gonna add this on screen. Yeah, there you go. But it helps me maintain my circle. And as the special slowly ends, it slowly gets smaller and smaller as well. But the point is that it helped me keep my circle. So that's how a special can help with your area of control. And also how your sub-weapon, like a bomb, can increase your area of control. But now, if I change to another weapon, like a Splattershot Pro, you're going to find out that, if I remember how to do this, okay, yeah. If I can remember how to do this, I should be able to clear the stage. Voila! Everything else has magically disappeared. So now I can show you from basically the same point. If I was to spin around again, you'll find out that with this weapon, our circle is a lot bigger. Right? So we can shoot this guy, and our circle is a bit longer. We can even hit that guy over there. So we have more area of control. And I've also explained how the environment can affect it as well. And also how bigger weapons have bigger areas of control, how that is helpful. As an example, remember when we were up here last time with the Splattershot Junior? We couldn't quite reach that guy. Our ink puddle was landing about there. Well, now I can hit this guy. This is because we have a bigger area of control. Now, as another example, I'm going to change to one of the weapons with the longest range in the game. So we have the biggest area of control. Now, whilst you are thinking, oh, the area of control is pretty good, it seems, it can also have its disadvantages. So, that being, yes, we can shoot this guy over here, we can shoot that guy over there, and we can even shoot his little friend all the way over there. We can't quite reach him yet because he moves on a rail. But right there, we can reach all the way over there. If we were to go across, we can reach all the way over to there. So, for players like E-leaders, they like to take the high ground because it helps with their area of control. Now, another problem with the area of control is, let's say, since my weapon is a slow charging weapon, it takes me a lot longer to be able to control my circle compared to a shorter weapon that has a higher fire rate, like the Splattershot Junior. Even though its circle's smaller, it's easier for a Splattershot Junior to control its circle. And that is because, well, since its circle's smaller and it has a higher fire rate, well, it's pretty quick to control its space. As long as you see an enemy coming up, you just get to shoot them. Now, going back to the relevance of this, another factor is, like, ledges and stuff. But also, some of the obstacles of, like, the map layout and stuff can be cancelled out by simply range. Because before, when I was standing all the way down there, I couldn't hit that guy up here. But now that I'm standing back here and I have a long range, I can still hit him. And whilst my kit doesn't really help me with taking more space, like a bigger circle of control, I have ink mines, which allow me to maintain my area of control. It allows me to, since I can put my ink mines anywhere, I can use them technically to increase my circle a little bit, but I like to put them on spots like here, so then if I'm hiding up here because I want to shoot someone, one of the ways they're going to get to me is by running across this ink mine, and it's going to explode on them and kill them. And so one benefit of ink mines is it helps mainly maintain your area of control and stops you getting flanked. So I personally don't really like ink mines. I prefer other weapons, like other sub-weapons, like splat bombs, which I can actually throw, and therefore I get more control over my space. So, yeah, that's another way of how I can... That's basically a simple explanation of how I can control my space. Because controlling your space whilst attacking someone and killing them so you can take over their spot is easier than controlling your own space. You also need to remember that someone else might be wanting to get where you are, or they might want to get past you, so they're going to try and get your spot because, well, let's say you have a better spot than them, so they want to get up in your face and kill you, so that they can have that spot, because they need it to help their team out. So if you had the bigger area of control, normally, not all the time, but most of the time, you'll be able to control that area bigger, like the bigger area, more easily, or easier. So that's sort of the simple concepts of area of control, and I'm going to do a very quick rundown of which weapons have short, medium, and big, and very big range. Now, I don't know how accurate all of these are. I haven't written them down. I'm just going off my memory. So, depending on weapon classes, also depends on the range. Like, as an example, where is it? I don't know if I have the weapon I'm looking for. I should have it. But as an example, Splattershot, Splattershot Junior, that's kind of the weapon you start with, and it has a okay range. I'd say like small to medium-ish range. But you can get weapons like dualies that have slightly less, so I classify this as a small area of control weapon. Whilst you could have a Forged Splattershot Pro or just a Splattershot Pro, depending on which weapon you use, very directly impacts your area of control. So Splattershot Pros, any Splattershot that has Pro on the end has more range than the juniors, and so I classify the Splattershot Pro as a medium to large area of control, because its range is bigger than something that is more standard. But if you go to dually squelchers, selectively dually squelchers, because they have slightly longer range, add another effect, it is slightly better for longer range than, say, using dabble dualies. Whilst their trade-off being they have a smaller range, they have a smaller area of control, but they can shoot faster. Whilst the dually squelchers, they shoot a lot slower, but they have much more range. Comparing the two, there's a lot more range. Now, most rollers have small area of control. There's a few exceptions, like the Dynamo roller. I'm sure that most people know what I'm talking about when I bring up the topic of Gold Dynamo roller, because that's not fun for most players. So most rollers have air to small range. The carbon roller has a pretty small area of control. Whilst yes, it does have pretty much one of the fastest attacks in the game, sometimes it can be really hard to hit, because just the pure fact they had to be so close. And depending on how far away you are, also affects how much damage you do. So from there's also weapons like blasters. Some blasters have a little shorter range. They tend to have like medium to large range. The Rapid Blaster Pro has pretty decent range. I'd say it's about medium to large. Probably right in the middle. Whilst the Clash Blaster has a small range, but if we get the regular blaster, it has a slightly shorter range again. It's kind of disappointing. But a Splooshomatic and a Splashmatic, they're very similar. So the Splashmatic is longer range than the Sploosh and less spread out. Well, no, the Splash is more spread out, but it does less damage. The Sploosh is shorter ranged and does more damage. Now, Sploosh and Splash confused me when I first started playing Splatoon, But the way to tell them apart is literally one has a cone on the end. I'm not sure if you can see my mouse. Yeah, you can. So one has this little cone on the end. That's the sploosh. The one that has the point on the end, that's the splash. The splash has the longer range. The sploosh has the shorter range. And there's also weapons that came out in Splatoon 3, which were the Splatana Wipers and Splatana Stampers. They are mostly short range. They do have a bigger area of control for purposely turfing, but the thing is that you can't really. You have to be closer than pretty much any other weapon just to attack someone. Whilst if you look at, like, the E leader from before, it has the one of, if not the longest range in the entire game. So it has the biggest area of control. Sometimes the area of control can make some people really confused because, oh no, there's a lot of enemies in my area of control, I can't shoot all of them at the same time. Maybe try going a smaller weapon so you don't have to worry about them just as much. That's just one of my opinions. But yes, area of control can affect a player, and depending on how a player likes to play, can depend on what area of control they would like to use. Because if you like to hide in corners, you're not going to do that with an E-leader, because you're meant to be shooting people very far away. You should use the carbon roller, because the carbon roller is a shorter range. But if you like just sort of doing your own thing, getting in people's faces, splatter shot, pretty much any shooter weapons, they just work. They're good for turfing, they have range. Most of them are fine. Most of them have pretty much the exact same range. But if you want to be like cheeky, camp in a corner, fling like rollers to some shooters are better at that. But I wouldn't recommend hiding in a corner with a splatling or any charges really, because they're not really good at that. Now I did kind of forget about the sloshing machine and the sloshers and the blobbers as well. They're mainly medium range to long range, and also the octo brush and the ink brush. They also fall under the category of short range. And also the undercover brawler, the reflux. I don't know. It's weird. It's small, I guess. Like, it's medium to small, but sometimes, depending on how you use it, you can get long range. And I'll explain this one, because sometimes it really bugs with me. So, you can reach this guy, you can reach that guy, you can't quite kill him. And that guy all the way in the back, you can't reach him. But if you jump and shoot, you get pretty close to hitting him. But this guy, you'll kill him. This guy, you'll kill most of the time. That guy, I don't think you can quite reach him. But that guy you can hit. Even though I classify this as a short-ranged weapon. The reflex is kind of a weird weapon. So yeah, that's sort of the whole area of control. It's pretty simple. Just know how long the range on your weapon is. You can always like when you buy a weapon, you can always press ZL to pop up the info, and this is sort of the range. And there's a few other factors like mobility and charge speed, charges, or damage and fire rate, and like shooters and stuff. But they always had the range. So if you ever forget, where should I be playing? Because I don't know where I should be playing because I don't know how to play this weapon. Well, first off, I recommend trying to play it the way you normally play it. But if you definitely forget how to play it, just look at the line. It'll tell you what range it is and how you should be playing that, depending on the range. But yeah, that's sort of area of control, just summed up pretty simply. But yes, thank you guys for watching. I'll see you in part 3.